Alright, I'm going to do part 2 of this. Cards in my 540 unpowered cube. Now we're going to do blue. We just did white. Link in the description of that video, and link in the description to the cube on Cube Tutor. Going to do this in the same style as the last one. We got 1-drops. There's only one, and it's Delver of Secrets. It's not as good in Cube as it is in stuff like Legacy and Modern, but it is still quite powerful if you can get it to flip. 3/2 flying for 1 mana is something that anyone worth their metal will be happy about. What a sentence that was. Okay, 2-drops. There's some good ones in here. We've got Snapcaster Mage. So good. This thing is buy back any instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Or buyback's mechanic. Rebuy. Flash, 2/1. Decent body for its power. For its mana cost. Plus its ability. There's no downside to this card. It's excellent. It's played in Modern. It's played in Vintage. It's played in Legacy. It was played in Standard. Played in pretty much everything it can be played in. Play it. Auto include, for sure. Merfolk Bouncer. He's a merfolk, and he's a bouncer. Pretty good. You can discard stuff to reanimate with him, and also set your opponent back. Important to note, you can also bounce your own cards to protect them from removal spells or something if you want to do that. Something that I end up doing a lot, but I feel like that's just me. Fathom Seer. It's one of the 2 morph cards in blue. It's a gush, but on a stick. Merfolk Looter and Looter Ilkor are very similar, but both very good. Helps you cycle through your deck. You get rid of stuff you don't really want. Extra lands, spells that aren't super good in what you're doing. And then you can discard stuff to reanimate. Blue is one of the reanimator colors in this cube. And then lastly, Willbender, the other morph in the cube, or in blue. He's okay. You can redirect something. It's a fun kind of gotcha. I'm going to do 3-drops now, of which there are some powerful ones. We've got Mana War. Beautiful art, I think, but also super good card. 2/2 for 3, that's kind of bad, but bounces up creature. Super good. It's 2 for 1. One of the ETB enter the battlefield effects that you can use a lot and abuse by blinking it and bouncing it and copying it and doing all sorts of things. So this is super good. Happy to have that in your deck. Seagate Oracle, good in control because it's a good blocker and it helps you dig or pick up stuff you really want. Deceiver Exarch is a combo with Splinter Twin. That is something in this cube. Splinter Twin is, I think I've pulled it off once or twice. It's a fun combo. I'll put the card up here. And this combos with that, but it's also a good blocker, and it'll tap something down. There is Pestermite, the other thing that combos with Splinter Twin, or Kiki-Jiki, which is also in here. Put that up here, right there. A bit more aggressive than Deceiver Exarch, but still quite good. Basically, you cast one of these on the end of your opponent's turn, and then you untap and play Splinter Twin or Kiki-Jiki, make infinite copies of these guys, and then win the game. Good combo. Fun. Then you've got Vendilion Clique, or Click, whatever you want to say. Really good in control or aggressive, because it's 3 power in the air for flat, and it's instant speed, along with get in your opponent's hand, or you can get in your own hand and try to dig or get rid of something you don't want. That is a bit less common than doing it on your opponent. And then True Name Nemesis. Excellent. Pretty much not unkillable, but nigh unkillable. He's super good. Put a sword or an equipment on him and you're looking pretty good. It's going to be hard to lose that game, especially if you're playing blue with counterspells and all. I think blue is the best color in this cube. That is for two reasons. One, I'm biased, and two, it's got a lot of powerful cards. 4 drops. Ninja of the Deep Hours. This is usually a 2-drop, but you're not really playing it on turn 2. You might. Nah, you got Delver. So yeah, 2-drop, but you're not really playing it on turn 2. It's a way to get in some damage, draw a card, kind of get them. Pretty good. Not bad. Pretty good, not bad. Interesting. Then you've got Glenelendra Archmage, whatever. She's really good. 2/2 flyer with Persist. It's pretty good already. And then you can pay 1 blue, sack her, and counter something. Or a non-creature. So she is negate twice on a stick. Super good. One of the better blue creatures in Cube. Dungeon Geist. It'll tap something down. It's a 3/3 body and it's flying, so it'll help you close out a game once you've stabilized. And then Venser Shaper Savant. He can be used as a counter spell and to bounce pretty much anything. Another Got 'em card. Fun guy. And I've got the from the Vault 20 foil. So 5 drops now. There's a few of them. We've got Maloku the Clouded Mirror. It's an alright finisher for blue. Not the best. There's definitely better finishers. Again, sorry about the focus. It's just it's some webcam. Yeah. Maloku the Clouded Mirror. Get a lot of 1/1s in replace of your lands. Stitcher Giralf. I don't think I've seen him get picked, but that's just because he hasn't really ended up in the draft that I've seen. Pretty good. Get some zombies. Yeah. Not much to say about him that I know of because I hasn't been played much so far. He's kind of a recent addition, I believe. Muldrifter. You're usually going to cast him for 3, but super good. Auto include. And if you can cast him for 5, he's even better. Riftwing Cloudskate is often a 2-drop. Bounce anything. Put him on suspend. Pretty good. And lastly, Prognostic Sphinx. Discard a card. He gets hexproof. And then you scry 3. Scrying 3 is quite good. 6 drops. There are 2 of them. Aetherling and Frost Titan. Both super good finishers in blue. Aetherling was a big finisher in Standard. And Frost Titan is, again, it's another one of the Titans. So you play that. So that's all the creatures. Now we're going to do the rest of blue. We're going to start off with counter spells in ascending mana order. So, Spell Snare. Counters anything that costs 2. A lot of good thing that costs 2 in the Cube. Played in Modern, as far as I know, maybe Legacy, not sure. 1 mana counters are fairly strong. Force Spike, got the FNM promo here. Shout out to my friend Evan who got this for me. Any FNM promos you see in these videos are from him. A lot of the promos, actually. Pretty much any of them, but that's not the point. Force Spike is a pretty good kind of got 'em card. No one ever expects it. People like to tap out. You can get them with this. Dispel. I don't know if it's good enough to main deck. It's super good in a sideboard. You could probably main deck it. Every deck has a few instants that are really good. So yeah, 1 mana to counter any instant. Super good. It's also good for winning counter fights. Don't happen as much in Cube as they do in Constructed, but when they happen, this is your best friend. Spell Pierce. Again, very similar to Force Spike, except you can't hit creatures. Mana Leak, getting into the 2 mana counter spells here. Mana Leak is super good. 3 is a lot to pay in excess when you're casting something, unless it's super late game. So, early to mid game, this is really powerful, and late game, it's still not that bad. You'd probably rather draw a different counter spell then. Miscalculation, slightly worse Mana Leak. Not the card, the counter portion. And then you can cycle it if you don't really need it, or if it's getting too late game and it's not going to be helpful. Memory Lapse is one of the really good blue counter spells because it counters it unconditionally and then it puts it on top of their deck. So not only do you counter what they were going to do, they don't get to draw something next time they draw a card. So you might have time walked them, and then they have to cast it again. And hopefully when they do cast it again, you've got another counter spell, like Remand. Similar to Memory Lapse, except it puts it back in their hand and you draw a card. So they still get to draw something in that case. Daze is another fun Gotham card. It's a free counter spell. It's played in Legacy. I ordered this card online, and it's got the eyes colored in, so that's interesting. Really cool altar right there. That was a complete accident. And then, arguably the best counterspell is Counterspell. Counter target spell. Completely unconditional. Getting into the more higher cost counterspells now. Forbid is super, super powerful. Counter anything unconditionally, and then you can get it back by just discarding 2 cards. Really, really powerful. A 4-mana Dismiss, counter target spell, unconditional, draw card, pseudo Cryptic Command. I have a few copies of Cryptic Command. They're not in my cube though, and they're fairly expensive, so happy to have this instead. And then there's Misdirection. I don't have Force of Will. Don't have that kind of money to spend on one counter spell. So this is as good as we got. I could probably put Foil in instead of Force of Will, but this is what we got for now. Misdirection, not bad. Sometimes it's played as like a 5th Force of Will in constructed formats. And then Syncopate, which is usually low cost, but I have it high up because it's got an X in its casting cost. Sorry about the focus again. Good early on, exiles it so they can't get it back. Fun blue creature I forgot before. Serendib Efreet. There's a printing error, and it was printed with a green border, which is, fairly interesting. But I think it's cool. Pretty good card. You can make like a blue-white Flyers deck. You're happy to have that in there. I forgot him before. He ended up with the spells. So, sorry about that. Now, we're going to do blue draw spells, of which there are many. Starting off with Ancestral Visions. This is played in Legacy and now Modern, because it was just unbanned recently. It's Ancestral Recall, but on Suspend for 4. Sorry about that focus. It's really annoying. But yeah, super good. Recommended. Link in the description if you can't make out a card because of the focus. We're going to do the 1-mana card selection spells now. I'm going to start with the worst and then move to the best. Sleight of Hand, absolutely the worst of them. Focus is better now, so I guess that helped. I changed the lighting situation. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand. Not bad. Not good. Just kind of neutral. Then you've got Serum Visions. Kind of the go-to in Modern right now because all the other ones got banned. Not bad. Okay. Then, I guess in order of the cube, then it's Brainstorm because there's not a ton of shuffles. It's harder to shuffle your deck consistently, so you don't get to bin anything. You just got it on top of your deck a lot of the time, but still pretty good. And then Ponder and Preordain are both excellent. These 3 are all excellent, but you don't have to rely on shuffle effects with these to make them really excellent, so these are probably the 2 best card selection abilities turn 1. Thought Scour is a nice thing to have. You draw a card, cycle through your deck, maybe put something in your graveyard that is reanimatable. Or you could do it to your opponent if you just want to draw a card. Either way. You could, I guess, use this in conjunction with Brainstorm to get rid of stuff you don't want. But that's not really something that's going to happen. So, Thought Scour. And then lastly, Gitaxian Probe. Again, played and constructed. You draw a card for free because you just pay 2 life instead of paying the Phyrexian mana, and look at your opponent's hand, so it's free information. Which, always happy to have. The rest of the draw spells. 2 mana cost ones. Think twice. I know this was played in Just Got Control in Modern. I don't really think it is anymore. But, yeah. Draw a card and draw another card, so it's a 2-for-1. It's a very underestimatable card, but I think it's really good, or good. Anticipate is played in both Modern and Standard. Look at the top 3, put 1 in your hand. Yeah. This card is slightly damaged, but whatever. And then Impulse. It's just better Anticipate. Got the From the Vault 21. Those are all the 2 mana draw spells. 3 mana, we've got Compulsive Research. Yeah, solid draw spell. Draw 3, discard 2, unless 1 is a land, then you discard 1. Fact or Fiction, the classic Cube card, or just card in general. Yeah. Reveal the top 5, your opponent puts them into 2 piles. You get a pile. So you're getting usually 2 or 3 cards. It's good, makes your opponent think, and you just get to think less. 4 mana again. Deep Analysis. Lets you draw twice. Pretty good. Getting into some of the higher cost draw spells, or higher printed cost. We've got Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise. You'd like to cast these for 1 and 2 mana, but sometimes you got to cast them for more. This is banned. I think this is also banned. They're both banned in Modern anyway. And I don't know about Legacy. I know this is... No, I don't know. They're both really good. This is super good card selection in combo deck. You look at the top 7 and you get 2. Combo or control. And this is super good in... this is a bit broader, I think, just because 3 cards is sometimes better than 2 out of 7. Sometimes. And it can cost 1 mana. But they're both excellent. This is late game, it's just Ancestral Recall. So, super good. And then the ones that you actually... never mind. This one is Gush. You can pay nothing for it if you want. Draw 2 cards. Return 2 islands. Whole book written about this card. I'm not kidding. 9, 12 chapters, something like that? I haven't read it, but I've thought about it. Entire book. This one card. So yeah. Really good. Then you've got Jason's Ingenuity and Opportunity. Just draw cards. Simple, pretty good. Now we're going to do the rest of blue with, all kinds of utility. Vapor Snag, bouncing creatures is always good. Make them lose a life for it. Or bounce your own stuff and sadly lose a life for it. Either way, good. Pondrify. It'll handle something that's being a pain in the ass. It gives them a 3/3, but, it's kind of like a blue Beast Within, except it can only hit creatures. At 2 mana, we've got Spreading Seas and Into the Royal. Into the Royal is usually, it's like half and half between 2 mana and 4 mana. You'd rather do it for 4, because you get to draw a card as well. But solid, definitely. Bounce spells are really good. There's a downside to them sometimes, because like I said, in Cube there's tons of ETB effects. So sometimes they get to redo those. And then Cyclonic Rift, which you'd love to cast for 7 and just return everything, but you are happy to do it for 2. So basically, half of the 2 cost cards can cost way more if you want. Fabricate. Search your deck for an artifact. There's a lot of powerful artifacts in here you might want to search for. Like Thran Dynamo, you can get ramp stuff, you can get a Skull Clamp, some good equipment. Gonna maybe get some more swords soon to add to Cube. Repulse. Repulse is pretty powerful. Bounce something and draw a card, so it replaces itself. Replacing yourself, not yourself, itself is always a good thing. And lastly, Tinker. This card is busted. Got the gold bordered. It's one of the really good ways to cheat stuff into play. I have had this card in my deck a lot, And I've also won a lot with this card. Turn 3 or 2 Sundering Titan is really good. That's probably the best Tinker target that I have in the cube. I don't have a Blightsteel Colossus or anything, just because it's less applicable. You can get a Wormcoil Engine, something like that. But yeah, do it. That's really good. Second artifact, so you have to make sure you got a few artifacts to sack, but that's not that hard because there's a lot of powerful artifacts. Binding of Thassa, Wash Out, which is probably going to get cut. Not very good. It's fine. Binding of Thassa is pretty good. It lets you draw a card whenever you get through for combat damage and makes your opponent's creatures attack so that you can get through for combat damage and maybe force some unfavorable combat. Opposition, I'd say it's first pickable. Kind of a build-around card. Blue-white maybe, make some tokens, tap all their stuff down, get in for damage. You can tap anything with it, but yeah. Another first pickable card, Control Magic. You get their stuff. You get a creature. Super good, because that way you don't have to draft all the good creatures. Other people can do it and you can just take them. First pick. Repeal we're going to do now because I want to save this last one for last. Repeal is can really cost whatever you want it to, but it bounces something that is not a land and replaces itself. So you can handle like a enchantment artifact with it, and then you can draw something else. Lastly, the Upheaval. This is an interesting card. There's definitely support for it, but I haven't really seen the deck built all that often. But basically, you just draft all the ramp you can get. You ramp into this, and then with your excess mana, you recast a bunch of stuff. And then hopefully you're ahead of your opponent. I'm going to do Planeswalkers now. There are 3 blue Planeswalkers in my cube, and they're all Jace. Jace Beleren. The original Jace. Each player discards a card. Well, no. Each player draws a card. Target player draws a card, and mill for 20. Pretty good. Always happy to play him. Jace, Architect of Thought. He protects himself a little bit. Hard to see. Sorry about that. The list for the cube will be in the description if you want to check out the cards. Mini Factor Fiction, and then you get your opponent's best thing. And lastly, Jace the Mind Sculptor from the Vault 20. 4 abilities, absolutely first pickable, played in pretty much every format he's ever been legal in. Busted, definitely. Super good card. I used to have the Jace that mills for 10 for 0 loyalty in here, but he was too good, so he's gone. So that is going to do it for blue. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you've got any suggestions of things for me to add or things to take out or replace. The list will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I don't do a lot of Magic content, but I was recently struck with the want to do this, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, link in the description. Thanks for watching. And I highly encourage you to build your own cube if you don't have one, because it is the most fun way to play Magic the Gathering, in my opinion. Thanks for watching.